Hey guys! So a lot of things have changed since the last video I did about building a self-generative patch in VCV. So it's a good opportunity to make another generative video, and the first module we will use is Gray Code from Squinky Labs. Now Gray Code is a sort of a clock divider of 8 bits. Now in this video we will use square wave LFOs as our clocks, mostly. So let's use the LLFO from BogAudio. Let's set it to a square wave or a pulse wave, depends how you look at it. Let's push the offset all the way up, so we have a unipolar signal, and send it to the clock input of Gray Code, and already you can see that this module is alive. Let's have a look also on the scope, how it looks like. Let's choose a random output. So it will look like this. You can see that whenever the respective bit or stage is active, we have a gate, and the gate will stay high as long as it's active. Now another interesting feature of Gray Code is the mix output, from which we will get the mixed values of the bits. So it will look like this. As many bits are active, the higher the voltage. And this could be really nice for generating a sequence. So let's put this here. Let's really use Revin from Repelzen. Very nice, or Repelzen, to quantize the signal. And I will also want to attenuate this signal. You can see it here. The mix output will output voltage in the range of 0 to positive 10 volts. Again, according to the active bits, and 10 volts equal 10 octaves, and this is a bit too much. So let's use the VCA from VCV, this one here. Let's close it all the way down, send the mix output through the VCA to the quantizer. Let's take it out of here for now. Let's set a nice scale. We go with D, E, F sharp, A and B. And for our voice we will use the Voldemar oscillator from Lindenberg research. Let's use the quantized signal to the volt per octave input. Now another module I want to use, again from Squinky Labs, it's called Slade. It looks like this. It's a 8-channel slew limiter and VCA, and we will use this to gate the 4 oscillators of Voldemar. So let's send the oscillators to 4 inputs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We will use 4 gates or clocks, let's say, from Gray Code. Let's do something like this: 1, 2, 3, and let's go with the first one, 4. Now I will want to mix the voices, so let's add a 4-channel mixer. Again, let's use the one from BogAudio. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's span them also differently and take maybe also the levels a bit down so it's not too hot, the signal. Very nice. And let's see how this sounds like. This will go to the main mixer. Let's open the VCA bit so we get also some notes. Something like this. Maybe take the octaves down. Oh yeah. We can change the rate of the rise and fall times. Something like this. Change the rate of the clock also. Something like this, okay. Now let's add some reverb to this. I have reverb on everything, but let's add another reverb just for those voices. I will use another Plateau. So let's send the voices to Plateau. Take the wet for now all the way down. Add some modulation. Maybe tame the lower frequencies, maybe also the high frequencies a bit. Take the decay a bit down, and let's start introducing the wet signal. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Let's listen to this just a bit. And here what I wanted to do is not quantize to B flat, I wanted to quantize to B, so let's change this shortly. So we have the E minor scale, or a part of the E minor scale. Now the main reason why we will use LFOs as our clock is because we will modulate the frequency of the LFOs, and by that modulate the clock time or clock frequency. So let's put this here, the sample and hold module, again BogAudio. Let's set it to positive negative 1 volt in the right click menu, and we will use the same LFO because it's a, I will show you this also, it's a square wave LFO or a pulse wave. We will use this to trigger the sample and hold, and this sample and hold will modulate the frequency of the LFO through the volt per octave input. And now you can see that the clock rate is changing, and also its pulse width. So the clock is actually modulating itself through the sample and hold. Very nice. Now let's change the sound a bit more by taking the dry signal out of the reverb, so we have only the wet signal, something a bit more atmospheric. Oh yeah, something like this. Oh yeah. Very nice. Another module we will use, again from BogAudio, is Walk 2. Which will generate a smooth random signal. Let's look at it also on the scope. It will generate a smooth random signal that moves in Brownian motion, so without any jumps to a new value. It will be smooth. And what we will do, we will sample this signal and generate random sequences from it. So let's use the sample and hold from ML this time. And you can see that we have an X output and a Y output, which will output voltage according to the direction of movement of this signal. So let's use actually both. They will look like this. I will sample both of them. Let's just scale them a bit down so we don't get too low or too high notes. Also offset the voltage a bit, something like this. Okay, very nice. Now we will use two more LLFOs. Again, BogAudio. Let's set them both to pulse waves. Very nice. Again, push the offset all the way up. And let's modulate their frequency with Walk 2. Again, through the volt per octave inputs. And we will use them to trigger the sample and hold. Very nice. So again, we are sampling Walk 2, and Walk 2 is also modulating the rate of sampling. And we will use this as a pitch information. So let's send the signals, the sampled signals, to the quantizer. And as our voices, for our voices, we will use two FM operators. Again, BogAudio. Let's use the quantized signals to the volt per octave input. And let's see how this will sound like. Oh yeah. Okay, now I don't want the sound to be continuous, so let's activate the level envelope on both oscillators, set a nice snappy envelope, something like this maybe. Very nice. And now to trigger the envelopes, or to trigger the oscillators, we will use Re-Trig, also from Repelzen or Repelzen. Very nice, which will output a trigger with each change in voltage. So let's use the signals again from the quantizer, the respective signals. And now let's trigger the oscillators 1 and 2. Very nice. So again, with each change in note, the oscillators will be triggered. Let's solo this so you can hear it. Oh yeah, now let's use 2 more gates from gray code, or 2 more clocks, to modulate the rate of walk 2. So they will go first through Slade, just to slew them, to make them smoother, and from the output to the rate input of walk 2. So now walk 2 is also being randomized or modulated. Very nice. Now let's send the oscillators first through chronoblob 2, which is a delay module, a really nice delay module actually. Let's set it to ping pong delay, change the delay modulation mode, or the time modulation mode. Let's see how this will sound like. Now walk 2 has another output, a distance output, which will look like this, and we can use this to modulate the delay times. So let's do this 1 and 2, and one will be modulated this way, and the other one will be modulated the other way, so they are inverted. We can also use walk 2 to modulate the feedback amount of the oscillators, so higher notes will be brighter. Oh yeah. Let's listen to everything together. Of course, we can also change the octaves to play with it a bit. Take the feedback amount maybe a bit more up. Okay, very nice. Let's use another module. This one is a new version of a module I've used. Oh, this is really nice. It's a new version of a module I've used also in the first video. It's the Note Sequencer 16 from JW. So first of all, it's smaller. It has only 16 notes. But now in VCV 1.0 we have also polyphony, so we can set up some nice chords really easily. Let's use the wave oscillator from Blamsoft, which is also polyphonic, and this is important. If you want to use polyphony, you have to make sure that the modules you are using are polyphonic. Let's randomize the sequencer. I will take the amount a bit up and trigger random notes, maybe a bit more, something like this. Very nice. Let's change the scale. In our case, it's E minor. This time we will use the DADR LFO from Wiqid. It's a new module, a new set of modules actually from Wiqid. Let's see this also on the scope. It will output, again, random voltage. and this will trigger the sequencer. Now this module will not output pulse waves, but the note sequencer will react to it when the signal goes beyond a certain value. So it will be randomly clocked. You can see how it goes forward. We can use this also to trigger the random function and set the mode, the run mode, to random, so we have even more change in randomness. Very nice. So let's send the polyphonic output to the oscillator. In the right click menu we can choose how many voices we want. In this case I will use 4 voices. Now we will use only one channel of the oscillator in this case, so we will not raise the density, we will not add more oscillators. And let's split the signal into another 4 channel mixer. I will use again the mixer from BogAudio. I will split one channel to 4 channels on the mixer, again pan them differently from one another, something like this maybe. Now let's send this signal directly to clouds or the texture synthesizer from Audible instruments. So let's make sure we have everything set up nicely. Take the input gain a bit up. We can also use the lo-fi mode of clouds. Take the blend all the way up so we get just the wet signal. And then by clicking here we can change the mode to spread, so this will enhance the stereo field, again all the way up, so it will be nice and wide. One more click we have feedback amount, just a bit more feedback, and then one more click we have reverb amount all the way up. And we can use this LFO from Wiqid to modulate the size and the texture of clouds. Let's just disconnect this from here and send clouds to the main mixer. Let's solo this and start generating some grains randomly by turning the density knob to the right. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Let's change the wavetable to sync sine. Oh yes, and we can also modulate this the wavetable position again with this LFO. Let's do this. Maybe take the speed or the rate of the LFO just a bit down. Oh yeah. Maybe take the octave one up here. Oh yes. Okay, let's add some more texture. We will use the noise output of the Voldemar oscillator, this one here. Let's send it to branches or the Bernoulli gate from Audible instruments. Let's set the probability knob all the way to the right, so the signal will come out only of output B, and we will send output A to the mixer. Let's just set this to the center here. And now turn slightly, really just a bit, the probability knob to the left. Let's solo this so you can hear it. Oh yeah. So we get those nice crackles. Let's send this first through a reverb. I will use MVerb this time from nysthi. So let's send this first to a reverb, and then we can pan this to the left and to the right. Let's set the mix a bit up. No pre-delay. Also early mix a bit up. Room size also a bit bigger, a bit more density. A bit more decay. Oh yes. You can add some noise to the wave oscillator. There's a lot to play here now. Turn again the feedback amount on the delay time. Generate more grains on clouds. Very nice, so that was it. Again, this patch can go in many different directions. There will be a link in the description to this patch. Feel free to download it and take a closer look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you enjoy what I do, consider becoming a Patreon. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and hit the bell. And have a good one.